What would another 350 plus K do to your bank account? Stay tuned to find out. What's up, FlowChat fam? Chris here, CEO and co-founder of FlowChat. We get to have real conversations with real entrepreneurs on the front lines getting real results, and today is no exception. A FlowChat fam member. He's actually one of the OGs of FlowChat. He's been around for a while, and he's obviously created a great result of over $350,000 in sales using FlowChat. But the big question is how and why, and more importantly, how does this affect you? So Ron, thank you for coming and hanging out with us today.
Chris, what's up, dude? How are you?
Hey, you know we're doing great. We got to catch up a little bit before hitting the record button here, and I appreciate you taking your time to share what's going on, because I know you've been active in our community already. You're always open to share and happy to help. So we're gonna focus on kind of in this first part around you've created an awesome result. Take us behind the scenes. Like, how did you generate so many sales using FlowChat?
Well, as you mentioned earlier, I'm kind of one of the OGs. I think I'm grandfathered into the original pricing, which is amazing. So,
Congratulations.
But I've been using, yeah, I'm kidding. But I've been using it from the very beginning. As you know, basically, it's kind of meta. I use FlowChat to grow my business, but FlowChat's a huge part of my business. We sell virtual assistants to run FlowChat outreach. So that's kind of one of our big products offerings. And then we also have like a Facebook group mastermind that helps people generate appointments and get clients using Facebook groups and our DM strategy using FlowChat.
I'm hoping there's a few people listening, watching this right now, and they're like, oh God, Facebook groups. And they're just like dying inside a little bit. Because yes, they've been around, but they're still working. But there's a big difference between how most people do it and how Ron does Facebook groups. What's important is creating that positive experience, however somebody's coming into your world. And so I know I'm gonna keep digging, man. I'm gonna keep asking questions to get some of that out of you. But what I want to start with, you mentioned how FlowChat kind of worked its way into your business. First off, you're using it to get new customers. Let's start there, and then we'll kind of hit how you use it in your service as well. So how are your Facebook groups are the big part of how you're using FlowChat? Is that the primary flow?
Exactly. So basically, you inspired me a long time ago. I mean, we've known each other for like a good long while. I was in your mastermind before, and you inspired me to start a Facebook group. I reverse engineered a bunch of the other groups out there. Like, I'm not going to name names because I don't want you to send them their way. So anyway, and I built my own frameworks around that. And one of the things I did was I created what I call my Facebook Messenger playbook with FlowChat. It's a bunch of different pipelines that kind of work together to generate appointments. And that's how I started filling my own calendars. That's what I coach in my program. And they can install those pipelines directly into their accounts, which is awesome. And, minor editing, and then they're ready to go and up and running. And so it's a lot about that playbook, and then also my content strategy, which I did a little training on today inside the Facebook group. If you want to go check that out.
Yeah, heck yeah.
And that's basically it. Content and DMs.
Content and DMs. Those are the two things that we can always control anyway, right? And then watch the conversions, and then work on getting those to the level we want them to be. Can you give us one or two things not to do? Like, if you want to have a crappy Facebook group and have a horrible process, like, stay away from these two things. What would you say?
Well, I'm a big proponent of starting inbound DM conversations. So more people that are like raising their hand and saying, hey, reach out to me. I'm interested in what you've got to offer, instead of like sending a cold message to somebody and what I call pitch slapping them. So don't pitch slap. That's always a no-no in my opinion. There are ways.
Did you make that up, or did you hear that from somebody?
No. That's been around for a while.
Okay,
I wish I did.
How have I not heard that yet? That's great. Anyway. Okay, no pitch slapping. So you like to create more inbound.
Exactly. So that's a huge part of my kind of strategy, my frameworks, is creating the content that gets people to raise their hands or engage with that piece of content, and gives you a much better reason to reach out and have a better, warmer conversation. So it's really about a lot about creating content. The other no, so it's don't pitch slap. What's the other one? Don't invite people to your virtual dinner party. That one's super annoying. I don't know if you've seen that one. It was a fad for a while. But I think it's gone now. I haven't seen it in a while.
Okay.
But anyway,
yeah. Those eventually fade off, right? And don't work or last.
Yeah.
Let's flip to what is working. Okay, so you said, hey, let's create some inbound traffic. Content is something you can control. How do we create good content?
So, well, I talked about this today, actually. There's a guy named Aaron Fletcher. I don't know if you've heard, you know who that guy is, but he created a pretty solid framework for content creation that keeps every piece of content that you create very focused on your offer. So you're not out creating a bunch of random shit, if I can curse on this one.
You did. I'm sure most people are okay, hopefully. Yeah, you're good.
Yeah. So everything's very focused, and then you have like your main pieces of content. Like what I do personally is I do live streaming inside of my group, and then I do a lot of promotion to get people into that and on the watching the promotion. Then I promote it afterwards to create engagement on all that content, and then I use my DM strategy and FlowChat to then reach out to those people. And the scripts are really simple because really the content does a lot of the heavy lifting, and then FlowChat helps you to manage it and stay organized so that you're not letting follow-up drop through the cracks, really. So that's kind of my strategy. And then back to the product, you basically build a product roadmap. So people are in their current undesirable situation. They want to get to their desired outcome. There are certain steps that you have in your unique mechanism that get them to that point. And then so now you've got a structure or stages that you can pull content from, and then each piece of content is centered around a step or a stage in that process. And so and then you really want to focus on the sexy steps of that process, the things that are trending, or for instance, DM outreach is always is hot because nobody really knows how to do it well. Content, I had probably the biggest crowd I had to date today on the live training, and it was about content planning for 2023. I mean, it's very, it's right timing because everybody's kind of trying to plan content right now. But those, figuring out what's the sexy steps in that process, in your process, and creating live training around it, promoting that training to get people on there and engaging, and then reaching out in the DMs to get the call booked. That's kind of the strategy.
I like it. So you're more of a, hey, have content as part of your ingredients for the acquisition meal that you're cooking, and that drives some inbound traffic, and then you're managing all those conversations that are coming your way, because money's in the follow-up. So if you're not following up, you're not winning.
Yep.
That's where FlowChat kind of comes into the picture to manage all those conversations. Let's talk about VAs versus appointment setters. What does that look like in chat?
What's the difference? We use, I position them as appointment setters. Are they really? I mean, probably not. I think an appointment setter is probably more of a higher level person doing the outreach. So they are able to they have some sales skills probably, and they can maybe even take some phone calls and do some triage calls, some qualifying calls before they send it over to like a closer or something. So they've got a little bit more sales skills, whereas a virtual assistant, which is what we provide, they're just really following the scripts and the pipelines that are already pre-built in FlowChat. And then the way we do it is we have a Slack channel for each client where if the conversation kind of goes off script, they can tag the client in for that message and get them to take over the conversations. Maybe they can change the color, which is a cool feature of FlowChat for that particular lead card. And so they know exactly who they're talking to. They know where in the conversation that person is. And then, so the VAs are handling like 90% of the conversation and the client's handling like 10. So still takes a ton of work off their plate, but they're more following a script versus a skilled appointment setter, or a more that has sales skills is probably they're a little bit they're able to move the sale along quicker, I guess.
Makes sense. How do you measure the success of your content?
Engagement on the post, because
What's a good range?
I know the engagement. That's a good question. I mean, there's people out there that absolutely crush it. You know, I don't know if everybody on here knows what a two-step post is, but it's essentially one of the posts that you see with the colored black background. It has like a catchy headline and tries to get people to comment below. Just for instance, today, the one I did for today's training, I think I got 130 something comments on it.
Okay, that would be considered good.
Some of that is me responding back to it, but let's say that's 60 conversations that I can have in the DM and potentially turn into appointments. And that's just one post. So right. I do multiple posts leading up to that. And with StreamYard, which is the other tool that I use to go live, I don't know if you knew this, but
maybe not. I'm listening.
when you stream to both Facebook and LinkedIn, it creates an event on both channels.
Yeah.
And before we were working on the strategy on LinkedIn where each speaker can invite 1,000 people to the event.
Mm-hmm.
And then now I found out that with FlowChat, this is cool. This is new. I didn't even know you could do this, but you can go into the event and import all those people from the event. And then whether they watched they say they're attending. So in LinkedIn, you can say they're attending. And then whether they watched the training or not, now I can follow up and say, hey, did you miss the training? You want me to send you the replay? And I've got like a funnel on the back end that is trying to sell a workshop for this particular offer. But it also opens up a conversation to try to book a phone call.
Boom. That's awesome.
Yeah. So now not only am I following up on Facebook and my group, but now I've got another channel in LinkedIn, and it's still using my same kind of, hey, use content first and start a conversation from it.
So I think this is really important. So the first thing is, hey, let's generate some content. Let's get people to raise hands, comment, engage, and let's start driving some inbound traffic. I think majority of people listening, watching, will actually be on board with you on that. There is some resistance to outbound. I don't want to be that person. I don't want to be spammy. Yes, there's ways you can do outbound and basically not be spammy or somebody that everyone hates. But, it has a different go-getter mentality in order to do it well. And that makes a lot of people feel uncomfortable. I don't think it fits majority of personality types. Now, all this being said, there's inbound, which feels a little more warm and fuzzy, right? Mm-hmm. Oh, someone's coming towards me. Authority and attention's already been established a little bit, and I don't blame anybody for that. And I love inbound. I love outbound. I love all things that grow attention and drive traffic, right? Positive quality traffic. So, what's cool that you said is, hey, I got a strategy with a Facebook group that's working on Facebook. Mm-hmm. And here's how I replicated that. Really the same thing. It's the same type of content, but now it's going on 2 platforms. It's also going on LinkedIn. This was one of the big pain points that we had also internally. Mm-hmm. You get some tech or like tools and system and team on one platform, and you're like, great, let's keep scaling this. Let's go to LinkedIn. You have to like redo the whole thing and get a whole nother, tool set, software, and team and team to be trained on that to go do that. So hence FlowChat, like working on, yes, Facebook and LinkedIn, but also Twitter and also Instagram and also
the TikToks. Don't forget the TikToks.
TikTok's in the club now. Yeah. So did you hear the new import feature on that?
I did not.
So now when you're on TikTok and you do a search, you can import that list.
Sweet.
When you're on Facebook and there's an Facebook event, you can import the guest list.
Yep. Use that for this. That was huge.
I
asked for that, by the way. That was my.
I believe this. Yeah. Ron you heard it here first. Ron was the squeaky wheel for that feature. So we were developing every day, every week. This is a market. If you're just hearing about us for the first time, FlowChat, join the free community in the group, our free Facebook group. It's a market-led, like, product growth type strategy. Like, the more people are putting input in and everything, we're just over here building what you want. So that part's cool.
I just wanted to say something. So, I'm a high level nerd too.
Yes, this is true.
And what I love about FlowChat is it makes me feel like it's very similar in the way that you guys kind of build things. Like they listen to their audience and they build things fast. And you guys do the same thing. And like, I don't think there's no other, trust me, I've looked at all the other outreach tools out there and nobody does it like y'all. Nobody is moving as fast or innovating in the social media outreach world as like y'all are.
I appreciate it. Appreciate the kind words, Ron. We work very hard to continue earning your trust. We're not slowing down. And huge shout out to Bruno. If you ever watch these, Bruno, he's our mastermind and developer. So, and team, the developer team behind him. So, all this being said, Ron, why tell us a little bit more about like the product services that you're bringing to market?
Yeah, so basically we've got a couple of different sides of the business. We have my group, Profits Mastermind, which is all about building a six-figure business using Facebook groups, our DM strategy, and our VA appointment setters. And so it combines all those things to help you build a six-figure business. And right now we're launching that for 12 months, and it's a ridiculous price. So if you're interested in that, hit me up. And then the other side is people come to us that want to do outreach and want somebody else to handle it. So that's where our virtual assistants come in, and we just set people up with virtual assistants. And we almost make it mandatory to use FlowChat just because it makes our virtual assistants' lives so much easier. It's just, there's no other tool out there to really manage the outreach process. So it's hard for me to want to take a client that doesn't want to use FlowChat, to be honest. So those are the two sides.
Once you find what works.
Yeah. And maybe it's just because I'm so used to it and biased, but
Well, we'll keep shipping you Kool-Aid to drink.
Yeah.
It seems to be working. No, okay, that makes sense. So if you guys can see on the ticker below, if you leaning into what Ron's saying, hey, I need some more systems. I need, to see how he's applying and getting such a great result. And dude, I mean, congrats, doing multiple six figures per year. You can see it going by right now. His free Facebook group, gohighticketnow.com/group. You can learn a lot of the best practices that he's putting in place. What's fun about building this and building the community, we don't know everything. And so as people are coming in the community, they're like, it'd be a great idea. This is what would be really cool. I'll be like, whoa, yeah, that is a really good idea. That is cool. Ron's definitely one of these FlowChat members, which we wanted to bring him out here so everyone else in the community could benefit from learning from some of the best practices that he's been actively implementing and getting results. Ron, I like to end with one question, and it's a why question. Why do you do what you do? So I'll give you a second to think here. Athletes, musicians, artists, entrepreneurs, people that contribute, that create, and they keep putting themselves out there. They quit their job. They, go blaze the trail. This type of person, which I would put myself in that bucket per my life choices. It's scary as hell. I don't know that it ever gets more comfortable. At least it doesn't feel that way for me. So learning from other people like yourself that do the same, I like hearing, why do you do what you do? What drives you?
Well, I try to think about this outside of like money. I mean, I like money. Who doesn't? I like freedom. I like travel. But part of it is I just like solving problems, and that's how my brain works. I like creating systems, like as you know. And then what I've also found is working with these virtual assistants is they're awesome people, and it's like it's very fulfilling for them to thank me so much for helping them find jobs and everything. So my ultimate mission is to help 1,000 VAs get placed. I don't know how long that's going to take me, but that's a big goal, but it would be a cool goal to hit. So yeah, helping employ the unemployed.
That's an awesome mission, man. And you said travel. I think you should tell everyone before we wrap up here where the heck you just traveled, because it's ridiculous.
I just got back from Antarctica 2 weeks
Who,
total trip.
everyone listening, watching, who goes to Antarctica? Ron does.
This guy.
Dude, okay,
And a
tell
lot of
us
penguins.
what was one of the scariest moments of traveling or being in Antarctica?
Traveling is probably the thing to. So when you go to Antarctica from South America, you have to pass over the Drake Passage, which is the most turbulent water in the world. So I thought I was going to be tough and didn't take any motion sickness medicine. So the first day that we were on the Drake Passage, I got out of bed, started walking because I was going to go work out in the morning, and I started walking up the first flight of steps and almost passed out, almost threw up. So I had to go sit in my room the rest of the day and feel miserable. And I finally ended up taking some motion sickness stuff. But the Drake Passage is no joke. I should
Were
send you
you
some
just
of
like bouncing off the walls?
I mean, it's intense, dude.
Yeah,
And-
I mean, I'm just trying to picture. You said you went in your room the rest of the day. It feels like you just like, oh, I'm just gonna go lay down. But like, were you like, I mean, did you have to like strap
I mean,
yourself on the bed or like how did?
you do almost roll off the bed sometimes, seriously.
That's
But
amazing.
it feels better than walking around. I mean, you don't feel as sick laying down, but you're like rolling on one side, and then yeah.
It's like an active water bed.
Yes. Yep.
That's the way you make it sound. You know, you're kind of like constantly in motion or something. Yeah, that sounds intense. Going to Antarctica. I thought you were gonna say like, oh, I almost got ate by a polar bear or something. But it was travel.
Almost got killed by a penguin. That was
A
about as close.
penguin.
Yeah, there's no polar bears in Antarctica.
That's
the only-
obviously I've been there and don't get outside much. But a penguin almost took you out, like just like went for your ankles or your knees or something, and
the stench almost killed me. It's pretty potent there. Lots of penguins and poop.
penguins and poo. Okay, so maybe more their feces than them. Or,
Right,
I don't know.
right.
That's awesome, man. Well, hey, appreciate you coming out, sharing with the audience. I know I'm assuming we'll have you back out as you're working on some more really fun things. So as those build and grow, then please come out and keep sharing and all the cool things so everyone else can learn and grow too.
Yeah, for sure. Can't wait.
All right, appreciate you guys also watching. We value your attention and your time. That's why we bring the real people, real entrepreneurs getting real results. Entrepreneurship can be lonely, but it doesn't have to be. The spotlight here is designed for, yes, you watching this. You're not the only crazy person out there. Myself, Ron, and others included in the FlowChat family community are just as crazy. But to change the world, sometimes you just got to be crazy enough to believe that you can. So we'll keep bringing great content like this your way each and every week. We'll see you on the next one.